The title of my installation is Building Knowledge, an Inventory of Strategies. The focus on knowledge at a point in time where urbanization is happening at an unprecedented pace is because we need to recover a new kind of knowledge about building so that we build appropriately and we don't create more problems than we solve in the way we build. The second meaning of building knowledge is that we are also building knowledge in places we go. We have structured the actual construction of the installation by involving 3 workshops in 3 places. In all of these workshops, we're following the line of duality. So here you have the situation of the German engineers and the Indian craftspeople, both not from Venice and both working together for Venice. So we just arrived in Venice day before yesterday, and yesterday was the first day we started setting out the plan of the piece that we are going to build in full scale for this year's installation at the Biennale. A lot of people nowadays are recognizing the waste generated by exhibitions as something of an area that we need to put some consciousness and change some of current practices. But what is also interesting in our installation is that we are beginning with what the previous Biennale already left as waste. Being here, looking at the actual recycled material and having them neatly stacked and analyzing the kind of wood we have, the cement boards we have, we are redesigning on the spot. So we are we've got a site office, so all our drawings are to be adapted. So having done this concept already, we have a network with people, local people who are activists now called Re Biennale, who worry about all this waste that is generated on one hand, and on the livelihood issues of the people in Marghera and in the outskirts of Venice on the other hand. So they try to make the 2 ends meet. They try to bring 2 problems together to bring one solution, which is integrated.
Everybody should be able to have a house which is well designed. So the idea of Fulfill Home was to have an affordable housing which is well designed for all people. It can become like a whole cluster of housing with many Fulfill Homes in one space with like an open space. So it can become a neighborhood. It can also be installed in somebody's bigger house. Somebody has a bigger house and wants a smaller apartment. We made a prototype in 2014 for an Architecture Students Association convention in Chennai. It was fully made in ferrocement, and we realized some of the structural points while doing the design, while making the house. And when you do it at 1:1 scale, you realize how the structure is behaving. After it was finished, the convention, we took out the pieces like Lego blocks. Again, we removed the screws and nuts and bolts, and we got it back to Oroville.
The prototype which we installed in India is now actually the studio of Anupama Kundoo architects, and we are actually testing it with all the climates. So we are actually working inside, and it's so much fun because it's done handmade by all the masons living around the villages, and they all come and visit us and find it really very cheerful. The problem in housing in developing countries right now is when it takes longer to build, it requires more labor, and that's why it's costlier. So to create affordable housing, we need to do two very important things. One is to reduce the time which is required in construction, and second, to reduce the labor.
Okay, that looks good, no?
But because we have a big tradition of craftsmanship in India, I think it will be very, very sad to lose all those skills which have been acquired by all the building craftsmen. So in order to acquire those skills, what we did is we involved them and we asked them to prepare all these pieces in their backyards.
So now you are making the wax soft and putting the
Color.
color
The
in
same,
it.
which color
Same
we-
color.
ஏறம்மா அதான் பேப்பர் போட்டால் அதனால வேணால் கவர்
This has been an adventure because every piece is coming from different parts of the world. So some pieces are coming from Berlin, other pieces are coming from Huesca in Spain, some pieces are coming from India, other pieces we are making here on site. Every part has the design and the footprint of the place that it has been produced. Anupama is trying to adapt this prototype to the local resources, and we can research about what is giving its material to us. Here we have waste materials, there we have human labor, and what is the balance of the two worlds and mixing in one installation.
In order to include recycled material from a previous pavilion, we have to alter the way we create the installation, yet having the same effect that we actually want to have. It's already an installation in full scale. People can, because seeing is believing, they can see what that actual house looks like. But we don't believe that there has to be a material authenticity in all the elements. We feel it's enough to have a few pieces actually made in ferrocement, and the others could be a kind of mock-up that are spatially and formally authentic, but materially not necessary to be exactly made of the authentic ferrocement. So what we've done is we've made a plan where the actual ferrocement pieces produced in Germany with the aim of testing the quality and strength are actually the original pieces that you will be able to see in the installation, looking slightly different from all the other elements, which are the last year's German Pavilion Biennale. This interaction, this knowledge building will have left everybody richer. So that's what I'm trying to explain, is that the exhibition goes way beyond its role as simply constructing an installation to share an ongoing work with the public. We're doing much more than that. Because at times like these, where money is scarce in the economic crisis we face, the best thing you can do with the funds that we generate is to invest in new knowledge and among lots of people who will be able to take it further exponentially. In order to build responsibly in today's time, we have to extend our normal practice to include the thinking about where did the material come from in the beginning and where is it going to go after the project is dismantled. We noticed from our previous installation here that there's a significant amount of material that needs to be disposed of very rapidly, and there's not much time to do it very consciously unless you're very organized and unless it is an integral part of the thinking of the installation itself. So we had discovered when we last came here that there was a group of activists called the Biennale who have been sort of fighting for these kind of concerns.
The exhibition, when the lights goes off, for many years we saw a lot of waste. So the main question was, is there anybody who say that we are in a crisis? Our world is in a crisis. Well, here in Venice, in Biennale, we cannot see this. We started this project of Biennale as a network of people who care the sustainability in architecture and in art. So we were a network of Venetian activists, and so we found a way to have some first workshop to understand better where is the point of sustainability, where is the point of unsustainability. 2 years ago, we started this call for Second Life. We asked the curator at the beginning, you must declare the availability of your material for donation. Last year, we were collaborating with the German pavilion, with Florian Ebner and all his staff, dismantling directly the huge exhibition they had in German pavilion, collecting about 200 cubic meters of wood, panels, and so we got a lot of materials, and we shared already to many projects in Venice, but also outside. So when we were contacted by Anupama, she told us about the project of Fulfill Home. So we shared the available material from the last Biennale. I was very happy because Anupama changed the project to fit exactly the material we were able because of this project at the beginning. So this is an important point.
You have? Yeah. And here also there is something. There are some pieces here, but there is a very small kind of wood there. Better to make the prototype and design according to the capacity and what makes sense in the place. Yeah?
Okay.
It is also very good wood for furniture and everything for you.
But it is not we just built with the wood beam. We just built a big floor for supporting the Fulfill Home, and the models of the Fulfill Home that were initially planned to be in ferrocement. Now we changed the project and we adapt our panels that are panels produced in Republika Czech. It was a good challenge.
Even I was thinking that if we may need some angle, instead to have a wooden piece, if we just have an angle.
The call for Second Life, in this case, have connected the Anupama Kundoo exhibition to a social cooperative in Marghera that works with homeless people.
We choose women, we choose old people, and then the young people that has no many problems. They know that they come one night yes and one night no.
We also wanted in this workshop to address a very common phenomenon that whenever there are high profile events taking place in cities, be it Olympics or something even like the Biennale itself, always these international global high points come along with a certain kind of not so positive impacts, especially in the peripheries and for the day-to-day lives of the common local people living in that place. So they spend half the time in the Venice area facing those touristic issues, and they spend some time looking at social issues and the affordability issues that are faced by the local people.
Now we are running a workshop with all the students and the Anupama staff. So with them and with the Caracol, that is the social cooperative, we will think together. We will brainstorming what about the fulfilled home and how it could fit this new project, the Second Life. Could be another unit for cave hospitality, so with bed and a little kitchen, or maybe it could be useful to grow a side project to give the opportunity for homeless people to learn a job, to be more included.
Okay. From the beginning from the it's 8 meters.
8 meters.
Yes. From the street to the other.
Okay.
See.
We need a measurement of this area where maybe we give the pavilion a second life, and right now we are measuring the trees because they are not the buildings only are important, the trees are a part of this area, and the constellation of the trees we are measuring right now. So maybe they are giving us a kind of idea where to put the pavilion and to place it in between also the green area.
We hope that the students, through their exposure to the local concerns, will be able to redesign all the things that we have produced here through this prototype, either as is or with minimal modification, or with use them in a completely different way. But we want them to come out with proposals that will be ready enough to implement by the next workshop we will have structured. At the end of the Biennale, we'll come with the fourth workshop that's going to dismantle these structures and install them. I think it's a great opportunity for students when they have to work on real projects, because they face real people, a real place, real scale and real materials, and I think that's very enriching for an architectural education.